Elliot Johnson, my friend, former big leaguer with the Rays, with the Royals, with the now Guardians, and of course the Atlanta Braves, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Do you know how many times you faced Max Scherzer in your career?
No, I'm going to say 10 times.
I've got you 2 for 2 with an RBI against
Oh,
Max Scherzer.
nice. I'm batting 1,000 off of him?
That's
Come
what I.
on,
That's
man.
what I have. According to
Really?
StatHead on BaseballReference.com, I've got you 2 for 2 in your career. But I don't remember the game, so we'll just take their word for it. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's start with the Yankees and Mets that are going to play 2 games. By the way, how does Major League Baseball schedule these games? All 4 games as midweek games. None of them. Nothing on a weekend, but they are just 2-game series. Yankees are 8 games ahead of the Blue Jays and Rays in the East, but they've dropped 14 of 18. Aaron Boone's losing his mind. Garrett Cole is coming out of the dugout when somebody accidentally hits Aaron Judge. What do you make of where the Yankees are mentally at this stage?
They're fine. I mean, I get all the theatrics. I mean, you probably, when you go through a schneid like they went through, Booney's getting a bunch of pressure from above him, from Cashman, and, Cashman's getting it from ownership. And so everybody's throwing it on. And then, it's like any other organization where it ends up, the lowest employee gets home and gets upset at their dog, right? It's
Right.
that whole analogy. So, standard stuff. They're going through a little bit of, the dog days of August right now. Not too concerning. They look like they're still in a great position. They're going to be just fine. Especially because the Red Sox have been so disappointing. I mean, to the point where we're going to talk about how good the Orioles have been.
Yes.
Of all teams. Orioles aren't even supposed to win this year, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
But the Orioles are playing carefree. They're loose. They're having fun. Adley Rutschman's probably been one of the best additions to any team, including the Padres getting a Juan Soto, the Mets, your favorite Mets, getting deGrom back. Adley Rutschman has been every bit as important, if not more. And then Rougned Odor somehow every time there's a highlight is scoring a run or hitting a home run or something. So it's pretty impressive that they went through that reclamation project from the Rangers. The Rangers are in the toilet with John Daniels getting fired. Chris Young's going to assume the leadership. So I think it's interesting that all these different things that are happening, and really the Blue Jays have been somewhat disappointing since firing Charlie. Be curious to see if they can limp into the playoffs or not, because the Mariners have an easy schedule the rest of the way at them. So I don't know what's going to end up happening. And the Orioles, if they keep playing carefree, are going to be a great storyline down the stretch.
There are 6 teams in the American League fighting for 3 playoff spots. Whoever finishes second and third, because the White Sox are close too. So right now, I think Cleveland is in first place in the American League Central. Then you've got Minnesota and Chicago are in it. The Blue Jays, the Rays, and the Mariners. Those 6 teams, and the Orioles rather, those 6 teams are fighting for 3 playoff spots. You mentioned the Orioles. I know I know a lot of Orioles fans. I'm amazed they were not trying to win this year. They screwed up their own draft position for next year. But because some of their prospects are here, wouldn't it be really cool if they could somehow sneak in even as the last team just to get some of these guys a taste of it?
Yes, that would be. I think it would be great. It'd be great for baseball. It'd be great for the American League East, of course, just to put some of those folks on notice that you can't disqualify anyone. If you got a major league team, they're all still professionals. They're all still really good. I think it would be great. I think it would really upset, potentially the Blue Jays, really upset potentially the Rays. When's the last time the Rays have been on the outside looking in, especially as of late? So, I promise you they're creating a little bit of friction there. Wander Franco is going to be out for an extended period of time. So that hurts the Rays' chances, unfortunately, for them. They're going to have to try and piece together some things here in August and September, because right now the Orioles are hot, and I think they're going to stay that way.
Mets just went through an 8-game road trip through Atlanta and Philadelphia. It came out of that 4-4. That's not too terrible. we're headed to the final 6 weeks of the season. They've only got these two with the Yankees, a 3-game set with the Dodgers, and a 3-game set in Atlanta. Everybody else, it looks like they play the Pirates and Reds only, and maybe the Nationals and Marlins. There's like nobody left on their schedule. What do you make of that type of a schedule the last 6 weeks of the season?
It matters. It's less taxing to your guys. It gives options to the front office, to the manager. If you need to kind of throttle down, you can. But of course, it's not advisable yet. But later on in the season, it can be. I mean, the thing that stands out to me, I think that the Phillies are 5-14 against the Mets. So the Mets have already beat up all over the
Crushed
Phillies.
them.
That's really what's hurt them. Losing 3 or 4 to the Braves, I think that's the first series that the Mets have lost this year. So that's something that's somewhat noteworthy of how much that they've been winning series. Because when you get in the playoffs, if you win every series the rest of the way, that's the only team that ends up standing at the end of the year.
Right.
So obviously the Mets are proving they can do that on a consistent basis, except for one blip against the Braves, which they're allowed over a full season. So the easier that the season is down the stretch, I mean, but you can imagine Showalter's been there before. Scherzer's been there before. They're going to make sure that they keep the pedal to the metal until somebody, probably Showalter, is going to say, hey, let's pull back the reins on these quarter horses for a little bit and make sure we keep the end goal in mind. So if they can go ahead and relax a little bit if they need to make sure they're ready for the stretch.
Elliot Johnson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I think the Mets lost one other series. I believe it was to Houston, who is sort of emerging maybe as the best team in the American League. Not sure. Albert Pujols, I can't believe that I am reading these numbers. In his last 28 games, 408 hitter, 829 slugging percentage, 9 home runs. In his last 9 games, I think it is. 9 games, 556, 6 homers and 13 runs batted in. I thought he was done, Elliot.
I respect Bumgarner coming after him, don't you? So like that's one thing you got to really respect. You remember all the famous home runs that have happened, throughout history, and how easy it would be for those guys to just go ahead and walk him, right? He's closing in on 700. Are you gonna go ahead and pitch around him? Are you gonna be cute, or are you gonna go right after him? So I'll give Bumgarner credit for going right after him. I mean, it hurt him, of course, but still he's going to go after everyone with his best stuff, which I really respect and appreciate. But Pujols still doing it at this point in his career is fascinating. I respect the heck out of it, and he's been one of the greatest hitters of my lifetime for sure, and one of the greatest hitters of all time. So he deserves all the respect in the world. I appreciate you bringing it up because he deserves more respect, not less, Adam.
It is like his career, his St. Louis Cardinals career alone, before he ever went to the Angels. He's a Hall of Famer for the first half of his career. End of discussion. So he was good with the Angels, and whatever happened with the Dodgers, whatever. He was good with the Angels, but his body was breaking down. And this resurgence after the All-Star game has just been remarkable. And you know me, I've said this before, I hate the Cardinals. I don't hate any other team of the Yankees, I do. But, I mean, I'm just amazed at what this guy's been able to do. Finally, in the 3-team race for 2 wild card spots, because the Braves pretty much have it locked up with like an 8-game advantage over the next team in the wild card race. It's the Padres, it's the Brewers, and it's the Phillies. If it comes down to Padres Brewers, there are multiple things going on here. One, they engineered a trade to get Josh Hader from Milwaukee to San Diego. Hader's been so bad with the Padres, they demoted him from closer. The Brewers pitching staff is bummed because they traded away their closer. What's going on here?
It's kind of interesting, isn't it? So, Hader, and one last point on Pujols before we move on to the next segment, but Pujols showing in the home run derby was a lot of fun. I don't think he expected to make it out of the first round. He beat Schwarber, and then it just made it a whole lot more fun for all of us that always had idolized Pujols through his career. So he's going to retire regardless, but much respect to him and his career. So Hader, I think everybody has that vision of what Hader is, who he could be for sure. But clearly it seems like the Brewers are onto something that they knew that he wasn't going to be the hater of old that we had expected. So I think they had found an opportunity to offload him at the right time to a really could be a team that ends up being the make or break on when, if you know what's going to be the worst for the Padres is if the Brewers get in and the Padres get left out.
Yes.
That's going to be a double whammy. Heads are going to roll over in San Diego because that lineup is so amazing. So they're going to have to find ways to piece this together to get in. But once you're in, I mean, they've got a team that's good enough to win. I don't know if I see anybody beating the Dodgers. But again, playoff baseball is playoff baseball. But the Dodgers have been so much better than everybody else. It's really hard for me to see anybody beating them right now.
Yeah, the Dodgers still have some question marks at the top of their starting rotation. Final thing, so we had the Fernando Tatis Jr. steroid announcement, 80 games. So it actually extends into next year. He wouldn't be eligible for any playoffs this year. Take me inside a locker room if you can when something like this happens and the dynamic between players.
Well, I mean, he's such a dumb idea altogether. He's already gotten paid. He's already one of the best players in the world. Now all he's done is just created question marks surrounding whether all of his production was legitimate or not. He's still one of the younger guys. Machado still is the leader clearly because he's been called upon a few times to help correct him in the past. And that's going to continue to happen. So he's got some maturity issues, clearly. I don't understand the goal there. So, I mean, he's going to have to apologize to the team. He's going to have to apologize to everybody in person. He's not going to do it behind a press release or an agent release of any kind. I was part of the team when Manny in 2011 ended up coming up with something. So that, we never saw him again. So what really he's going to have to do is call a team meeting, apologize to everyone like a man, go to them face to face and own up to all these, whatever he's done, because that team is infinitely better when he's on the field. I mean, let's be real.
Yep.
He's a dynamic lightning rod for any team. I don't care what team he's on. He makes everyone better no matter where he is on the field. He's incredible. So he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to make amends. And then from here on out, he's going to have to play clean. So, whatever that means, we'll see. But clearly he's got a long ways to go because, the other thing that embarrasses him is when reporters have asked him about his motorcycle accidents, he answered, "Which one?"
Yeah, the Padres can't be happy about that either. Elliot Johnson, you're the best, my friend. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Adam. Pleasure as always.